when you say gets to know your area well, do you restrict yourself to within a specific local authority, council area?
Yes. So we'll start off with a local planning authority, or if you want to call it a local council, and they are of different sizes depending on where you are. Get to know that one really well, and then get to know another one. And what we probably find is very frustrating from our point of view is we try and tell people to do this, or we all repeatedly tell people to do this, and they don't. And after about 6 months they say, I'm not making much progress, and we say, right, did you do that? No. And once they start doing that and you get to know an area, you start getting to know people in the area, and you start make a point of meeting people, whether it's a local authority, whether it's agents, whether it's consultants, you know, the whole array of people, and you get to know an area. You have a great conversation with people about a specific area, and you will find you get a lot more credibility. It works. You don't have to do it, but believe me, we've seen it time and time again that people don't do it, and they'll go all over the place. Oh, here's one in Manchester, here's one in Leeds, here's one in Liverpool. I can get to know the area in 10 minutes. You can't. And particularly if you're looking at bigger developments, you're going to, the least you know about an area, the more risk you're taking on. So, you know, much better to stick to an area and really get to know it well.
It's like the kind of analogy of you know, planting a tree. You've got to give the tree time to grow the roots and anchor into the ground effectively. Otherwise, you know, it'll get blown down by the wind essentially, and that's what happens to people that go scattergun approach, or different local authorities, or they're not focused enough, or haven't got a plan. That's often where it comes from. The scattergun approach isn't because they've decided that that's what they're going to do. You know, they're going to try this, that and the other. They're either distracted by sort of shiny pennies because they're perhaps not getting the traction in their local area, but that often comes down to output. The more time you spend in an area, the more chance you've got of your roots sort of bedding in and anchoring down, and creating those connections. You might actually choose an area depending on how easy the local authority are to work with, I guess. Steve, that's something you come across a lot?
Yeah, I think, back to the question, I think it says your area well, how well your area that you choose to develop doesn't necessarily have to be the area you live in, because as Bryn said, the councils could be rubbish. They might be quite anti-development and not necessarily be as proactive as you want them to be, or as you want to be. So you need to say your area could be anywhere, but obviously you'd want to be able to visit it. So you can't be like, if your area's Manchester, not necessarily want to go over to Leeds, you could be just picking in around where you are, but you could quite easily pick your area on how easy the planning portals to use. And we find that, so when you're doing your research, everything, that some planning portals are amazing, all the bells and whistles are there, but sometimes the rest of them are rubbish. So it's I think you're right, Bryn, that you could quite easily pick it on the planning portal. But it's just it depends how proactive your local planners are and how interactive they are as well.
I think as well it's about assessing the firstly demand in any given area, but also potential competition as well, and that not just saying in terms of, you know, what's being built out at the moment. So for example, in our local area there's a lot of sites that are being built out at the moment. There's a lot of units in planning as well, so from that point of view, you've got to have an idea that's going to have an effect, you know, positive, negative. It will have some effect. Doesn't necessarily mean that, because, you know, you've got 700 houses being built over there and 500 houses being built over there, that you've got no chance. But actually it might have an impact in terms of you know, you securing a site and competing on sales or rental. So it's about separating yourself from the pack essentially. But you might find yourself you know, right on the borders of different local authorities. We would sort of say that, I mean, developing at distance is, for us, it's an absolute no-go. You can't leverage everything out. I know there's a few people that have done sort of training programs and stuff, not on development, but in property, that I've seen over the last few years about doing things remotely and stuff, and being able to do it from pretty much anywhere in the world. Some things you might be able to do that. We wouldn't say that development you could do it. So travel time, distances from where you actually are, where your hub is a massive contributing factor to deciding where your area is going to be. If you live in a high value area at the moment, and it's the market's not really sort of saying that high value property is particularly a good way to go at the moment, it might be risky, then you've got to branch out, you've got to look at your other areas. So we would sort of say, if you can get there and back in sort of within a 2 hour sort of time frame, obviously dependent on time of day and stuff like that, but you're not going to be required to be on the ground every single day, even when you've got even when the things are hotting up a bit, but you've got to be within that kind of distance that you can be there or thereabouts when needed and when necessary to push it on a bit.